So Paul found this video. There's a lot of context into this, so I think Daniel, this is your story. But I think
let's do the video first.
Yeah, lead into it.
Then I'll do. Or do you want me to do the story first? And then we'll do.
Let's do the video.
Yeah,
you do the piece, and I have some things to add.
Okay, awesome. Let's do
All
it.
right, Jerome, please play that video.
We are at the end here. I got to let that one go. We are less than 2 weeks away from a national primary, and I want to ask all of you this simple question. There's a very good chance that none of you are going to have enough delegates to the Democratic National Convention to clinch this nomination. Okay? If that happens, I want all of your opinions on this. Should the person with the most delegates at the end of this primary season be the nominee, even if they are short of a majority? Senator Sanders, I'm going to let you go last here because I know your view on this. So instead, I will start with you, Mayor Bloomberg.
Whatever the rules of the Democratic Party are, they should be followed. And if they have a process, which I believe they do,
I'm trying to do
so
this,
that
yes or no,
everybody else,
fast.
everybody can.
So you want the convention to work its will?
Yes.
Senator Warren.
But a convention working its will means that people have the delegates that are pledged to them, and they keep those delegates until you come to the convention. All of the people.
All righty. Vice President Biden?
Play by the rules.
Yes or no? Leading person with the delegates, should they be the nominee or not?
No, let the process work its way out.
Mayor Buttigieg?
Not necessarily. Not to listen.
Senator Klobuchar?
Let the process work.
Senator Sanders?
Well, the process includes 500 superdelegates on the second ballot. So I think that the will of the people should prevail. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Most votes should become the nominee.
5 no's and a yes.
Chuck Todd so hurried to get him to shut up. Okay, thank you. Okay, yes. Like, don't stop saying the thing.
So I'm going to go into this article. Paul brought this up beforehand, and I think it's really important to front load this. And that is,
you go first. And
NBC has scrubbed that from their official coverage. They've pulled it off the transcript. It's almost as if they're like, "Oh crap, that looks really bad."
Oh dang, we did a really good journalism question there. We're not supposed to do that.
With this gotcha question turned out to be a good journalist question. That's not what we want. We're NBC.
We made news. Oops.
So let's talk about this a little bit. So Sanders was the only person who said, hey, you know, democracy is a thing that maybe we should do. You know, whoever the most people vote for is the, you know, they should be the person that, you know, wins. Everyone else said, no, I want an authoritarian, anti-democratic process to determine who the primary nominee is in the Democratic Party. This is a disgusting smear that they have placed on them. So it's not even a smear. It's anti-democratic authoritarianism that these other candidates have embraced. Why are they doing that? Because, well, winning, getting power, maintaining power is just more important than democracy or you. They want undemocratic people to matter more than you. They want people with votes that are worth 10,000 regular people's votes to matter more than you. What they're saying to you is, get out of the way. You're not welcome in the Democratic Party. I'm welcome in the Democratic Party. So we actually have some quotes from Kyle Kulinski. He says, a stunning middle finger to democracy in the Democratic base. From Sanders surrogate Linda Sarsour, inexcusable in the definition of authoritarian. And I agree. This is, and it's actually really funny that Chuck Todd asked this, because Chuck Todd hates Bernie Sanders. You've seen our coverage of Chuck Todd. You've seen us, Chucky Boy Todd, talking about anything. It's always Bernie Sanders is bad. It's like Chris Matthews is like one of the only people that excels in that, a little more so than he does. But I love the fact that he inadvertently, while trying to hurt Bernie Sanders, even though he's like, oh, Bernie, I already know your answer. You want democracy. That's funny. Let's talk to these other people. He inadvertently made a rallying cry. So, Chuck Todd, I know you're really bad at your job, but in this case, you failed in the right direction. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
So, here's my thoughts on this. The very fact that you have a major media outlet, hear me out. I know I'm critical of corporate media, but the very fact you have MSDNC, MS being the S being a money sign, basically editing a video out where they actually asked a real legitimate question. How many of you candidates would support the candidate that has the most delegates, or do you believe that the superdelegates should weigh in? All of the other candidates, save for Bernie Sanders, said that they want the process to work as is. Bernie Sanders is the only one who had the courage the real political courage, the emotional courage, any kind of courage. Basically, at this point, Bernie Sanders once again proves why he's so consistent, why people rally around him. He was the only one to say that the candidate with the most delegates, the most popular votes, should be the main front runner and should be the nominee to go up against Donald Trump. Even Warren said that. And this is why I'm so hesitant to even support or even humor the idea of a Sanders-Warren ticket, because that it's very dangerous at this point where Warren is willing, more than willing for a second time, to turn a blind eye to the DNC wanting to basically rig this election. The DNC has superdelegates. Guess who doesn't have superdelegates? The Republicans. And when the Republican Party has a more Democratic primary than the DNC, the same DNC for the past 4 years that's been screaming resistance against Trump and failing miserably at it, and even passing his own bills and laws, it calls into question of how this convention is going to play out, and more importantly, why all of you need to turn out to vote, know the rules and regulations of your state's primary, know whether it's a caucus, know whether it's an open primary, know whether it's a closed primary, know which polling stations are open, making sure that there's election integrity, and showing up to vote and sharing with people so that you are able to exercise your political power and voice. Because already on the stage, 5 candidates, Warren, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Biden, Bloomberg, all agreed to let the process work out. Bernie Sanders is the only one there that did the right thing and actually acknowledged and respected the people, all of us, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, Socialist, doesn't matter. He acknowledged that you as citizens have a vote, and all of us have a right to pick someone who will represent all of us going out of the primary and into the general election. All those candidates are very questionable, and this convention is going to be very contested at this point, and that's why we are going to be there in Milwaukee to cover it. So I know, Paul, you have an analysis, but Dan, you want to mention something real quick too. Go ahead.
I just want to point out the immense irony with mythical Monopoly Mike saying, hey, we just got to follow the DNC rules. If there's rules set up, we're going to follow them, after he literally just got the rules changed.
Excellent point.
On his own to get into the
well
debate.
done. Yes. Yes, exactly.
You got to follow the rules, except if you give them $300,000.
The same kind of rules, too, where, you know, Tulsi Gabbard, who should have been on the debate stage but wasn't because the DNC wanted to switch the rules on her so many times, it's baffling. You know, I guarantee if she was there, though, she would say, no, we need to respect the will of the people. But, you know, hey, DNC, you want to play favorites, you want to support a billionaire. Hey, you're showing your true colors, but people aren't falling for that stuff. And you're hoping Bloomberg, you know, the Democrat version of Trump, has failed miserably. Paul.
It's amazing to me how this question came out and how Chuck Todd did not think that this would play out this way. Did he expect that maybe Warren would also have said that she would go with the popular vote and maybe it wouldn't be so split?
I think he actually expected everyone. It's like, well, look at this. Everyone's against Bernie. Look, majority
I
rules.
see what you're saying. But yeah, but he should have known that Bernie would mention that the process includes superdelegates and that people are aware that that is an undemocratic feature.
Shh.
But, you know, I think maybe he would have thought that Elizabeth Warren would have said, no, the popular vote winner, because she's been saying that. Like Kyle Kulinski retweeted or a receipt of one of Elizabeth Warren's tweets from months ago.
Actually, it's a video. I want to clarify. There's actually a video of her saying that, no, we need to respect the candidate that gets the most delegates.
Right.
There's
the
a
most
video
votes.
of her
Literally
saying,
the candidate that gets the most votes.
I'm sure what she's going to say, because of course she has a plan for everything. She has her what if this changes plan, and that's going to be, well, when I said most delegates, I meant if you add delegates together.
Right. Okay. So, but the other thing that's weird about this is that mainstream press has been so diligent with spinning this story. One of the ways that they always talk about superdelegates and the fact that there are 2 rounds of voting is this is what Bernie Sanders wanted. Bernie Sanders fought for this. He got what he wanted. The rules were changed. This is what he wanted. This is what he wanted. This is what he wanted. Over and over and over again. It's like, that's not what Bernie wanted. Bernie wanted no superdelegates. Yeah. This was the compromise solution.
Yeah.
The fact that they keep repeating over and over again, this is what he wanted, this is what he wanted, this is what he wanted, is an attempt to smear him. And it was effective. It's effective spin. Yeah. They've been doing that extremely well. And then to have Chuck Todd come on and just ask people point blank and then give Bernie the opportunity to point out the undemocratic feature that is, you know, looming down the party.
Ironically, having him go...
Thank you, Chuck Todd, for being so ham-fisted.
Yeah. Ironically, having him go last was probably the worst backfire. If he had gone first and they would have said, Bernie Sanders, what do you think? Yes. Elizabeth Warren, no. Bloomberg, no. Klobuchar, no. Oh, well, that's the answer we have. That would have actually been different. But Chuck Todd literally said, Bernie, I'll get to you last because I already know what you have to say.
You know,
if Chuck Todd had just had Bernie go first, this could have all been avoided. But they decided to do every single step of the way to try and do this.
And the fact that they've taken it down, right?
Yeah.
The fact that they've censored the
video,
the transcript. They've ultimately taken the full transcript down.
People in chat are saying that the transcript may have been reinstated.
They may have gone back. Okay,
Yeah,
the last I checked,
because they're
it
being
was
called
out.
out on. You want,
They're like, what do you mean we took it out? It's in there.
I mean, it's very rock and a hard place, right? We really don't want people to see this, and so we've censored it, but everyone noticed. So what do we do? I guess maybe just delete the whole thing. I'm not sure.
See, because
there was no debate. Nothing happened.
We live in an age where corporate media is no longer trusted, and independent media and average citizens, you guys, are the real people who hold people accountable at this point. This is why we exist. But think about this, and probably I think the reason why maybe it was added into transcript is because of all networks, Fox News has even mentioned that, hey, look, Bernie Sanders said this, and Fox News of all the corporate media outlets, it's bigger than the other ones. Mm-hmm. And CNN and MSNBC will always crap their pants when Fox News decides to push on them. And so they probably were guilty, like, oh no, we're being called out by Fox at this point. Because right now, look, we all know how Fox News will treat Bernie Sanders, but dare I say it, he's been given more respect on their outlet and on their town halls than on any of the other. Yeah, I know, we live in an opposite world where Fox News is more respectful to Bernie Sanders. I mean, that's not saying much, okay? But
Fox News, the home of Jimmy Dore. Give me a list. Jimmy Dore.
Watch like Fox News becomes a new bastion.
Someone who's been a guest on Fox
I think
News.
all the people.
Lee Camp.
Lee
Camp went on Fox News and literally called
Jimmy
it a
Dore.
festival of ignorance. It's a beautiful clip. Look it up.
Lee Camp, Jimmy Dore.
What's her name? I'm blanking. Gaza Fights for Freedom.
Abby Martin.
Abby Martin's on there. Bernie Sanders on there. Tulsi Gabbard on there. What the hell is happening?
Who knows? Maybe Fox News finally opened a book of, hey, this is how to be a journalist. Whoa, we can do all this.
I have a theory on that. So I think it's Fox News is like, ooh, the Democratic Party hates this progressive wing. Let's stick to the Democratic Party. We hate the Democratic Party. Let's platform the people that they hate within their own ranks.
That's exactly what it is. They're acting completely out of their own self-interest, but they don't realize that it actually will probably backfire at some point.
Yeah. So and it's beautiful at this point, but nonetheless, it's going to be a contested convention, and we'll be there.